All right, Mr. Carl Najee. I'm so happy and grateful for you taking the time to be a part of the Faith and Finesse Mastermind series. Thank you for, sharing your light and just really giving you gratitude in advance. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, Carl is the CEO and founder of Tempo Events. So it's the official name of the I know there's a name of the company and then there's the name of the app. So what's the difference? Just so I know that I'm saying the right stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So the name of the app is just Tempo, just to
Okay.
keep it simple, and then the company name is Tempo Live Events Inc.
Dope. Tempo Live Events. So yes, you're a Black man in tech. That is very rare. I think us Black people are a very small percentage of the tech industry, and I'm sure you can probably give us more insights about that. But essentially, I just want this conversation to be able to help other entrepreneurs, pivot within their journey and just being able to, learn from my story, learn from your story. And at the end of the day, I just want people to just feel empowered to take action with wherever they are, with whatever they have. So I want to start this with a moment of gratitude and just thank God for bringing us here in this space. I hope everyone that tunes into this conversation gains what they were seeking. I pray that God gives us ample amount of clarity and just the strength and determination and ambition to continuously to push forward towards working for our goals. I know that the end of this year will be a victorious one, God, and I thank you for keeping us all safe and very in tune with who our true purpose and us just honoring our truth in this time. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
All right. So, Carl, how do we even get connected? How are we now on this journey of life and entrepreneurship together? What's your version of the story? There's like 3 different versions of your version, my version, and then the truth. So
I feel like I've been knowing you for a long time.
I know.
I feel like I've known you for like decades. But I know I was introduced to you, through Stacy. She always talked about this bomb, business manager / stylist / coach that she had. And then I think the first time I met you was actually in LA.
Yeah.
Stacy, you popped up and we almost had like some instant chemistry. So since then we've been cool.
I know. That was like back in 2016, 17?
Something like that. There had to be a couple at least.
Yeah, it was around that time. And I think at that time you were in accounting. Was that the role that you had?
Yeah, I think yeah. Well, so accounting is what I got my degree in, so I'm a CPA, got my master's in accounting and my bachelor's. But I actually never really worked as an accountant. I've always worked in the financial space, but never in accounting specifically. So I think back then I was probably working for Hewlett Packard, so dang.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, I've been stepped in there for a long time, but yeah, it's like I was probably working for Hewlett Packard in there.
Okay, dope. So I can definitely say getting to know Carl just as a friend and just as a businessman, he's definitely one of those people that are what are the facts as well as how we can make things better. That's always his mindset going into things. And so it's been a pleasure to just watch you pivot over the short 3 years. But like you said, I feel like it's been decades. So what was that pivot like with you, working at Hewlett Packard with the ambition to start your own app and your own, where did all that start? And then what was that first step you took to really start working towards your dream of what you wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. So I always knew that I wanted to be in the tech space and not just kind of working in it. I wanted to be an owner, have equity in something. So it even started in college. I went to UT Austin, and there was a really strong, entrepreneurship and founder ecosystem. So I tried to get immersed in that as much as I could in college. Worked for a few startups freelance. I was hungry, just wanted to learn. Then when I finished school, I was trying to think of an idea really hard, and I was trying to look for gaps in the industry. And one area where I saw a gap was in the event space. When you really think about it, there hasn't really been much innovation. Eventbrite, the company's been dominating it, but that app hasn't really changed much over the years. They kind of tweaked their design, but from you look at Facebook and you look at Instagram and you look at Twitter, how like those companies keep pushing the envelope. Eventbrite is really stagnant. So I saw an opportunity to, take advantage of their stagnation and introduce like a new product. But I think for me, I had to like educate myself first. I have the personality, like I like to, just go, go. But I had to kind of take a step back, educate myself from a tech perspective, teach myself how to develop a little bit so I could, hire the right contractors to outsource our stuff. And I guess the real pivot happened about a year ago when we decided like the college market was the right space for us to play in. So we started like tailoring our app and our company and the live events that we did like specifically to the college market. And last year we had like a tremendous amount of success, but I mean, I can probably go into it later. Let me not give too long of an answer on the first question.
No, you're good. I like that you brought up that you took the time to learn this major skill sets that's required when you're developing an app. I think a lot of people want to just like outsource everything. And that's, it's costly, especially like as a tech startup. I feel like with any business, regardless of how much investment capital you have, it's important for you to know how your business operates, how does it flow, what are the different roles, or one of the main things that you learned within that process that you feel like, I'm so glad I took the time to learn that specific thing because it's allowed me or saved me from making other mistakes.
Oh, absolutely. I think definitely taking the time to learn a little bit of web and mobile app development was huge, because the big thing I learned is that these contractors, they will try to rob you, and it doesn't matter where you go, whether it's Upwork, whether it's Fiverr, or whatever top freelancing site there is right now. Like if you can't go into a situation where you're hiring somebody to do something you have no idea about, right? Because they're gonna start inflating the time, inflating the cost. So now when I chat with and I'm still growing to the point where like I can look in Tempo's code and fix issues myself, or give recommendations on how I want things implemented. That just saved me it didn't save me a lot of time. There's a lot of upfront time investment to get that done, but it saved me a lot of money in the long run, where we don't have to do things over again. I can really, really squeeze and negotiate like good terms for the product development cycle. And now like I've kind of built a strong like taste, when it comes to app design and, app like websites. So I've come a long way in that regards, because I didn't really consider myself creative. I'm more of operational, like a numbers, facts person, like you said. So now, we're redesigning the entire layout of Tempo. And so like, I was the one that was like, project managing that and working with the designer. So I was kind of impressing myself, like, dang, I'm getting pretty good at this, giving some good recommendations and like, being able to discuss why I want things a certain way. So I think putting in that upfront time is, really helpful to help you run and operate your business.
So is this the first thing that you're like leading? Like, I know for some people, they may have not had taken any leadership roles in school or in college, but of course, when you are trying to launch your own idea, it's like you're the leader of this. So is this your first time in leadership? And if not, if you've done leadership roles before, how is this one different, and how have you had to pivot as a leader?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the challenging things with Tempo is it's a startup, right? So, we're making money now. We're not making money during the Corona period because all the events were canceled. But, last year we made a good amount of money. We had a pretty good Q1 before everything shut down. But the last couple of months has been dry, and it's fine. We have low operating costs, so we're not really too impacted by it.
Amen.
But I would say, from a leadership perspective, it's really been a challenge for me because, you have to motivate people without money. So you have to basically find a way to influence people in other ways and negotiate, other terms when, money is sometimes a limiting factor. So that's really challenged me. So I think I've held some leadership positions, like organizational leadership in school. Like I was the vice president of National Association of Black Accountants. Held, I was a mentor. I've held a lot of leadership roles. But I would say that the biggest thing that helped me from a leadership perspective is some of the work I did with my church. So as soon as I moved back to Houston, I started trying to get more active and involved in, the church that I grew up in. And, a lot of times, and so I was working primarily in the youth department. A lot of times, like, youth get kind of neglected, and all the focus in the church is like on the adults because they pay the tithes and they pay the bills and the lights on. So I worked a lot with the youth and young adults at my church, and just working with them, and you're working with teenagers, so you have to kind of influence them in the same way. You can't just say, "Hey, do this," and they do it. You got to like build that trust, build that loyalty, and you have to basically show you're a genuine person. And once they trust you, it's crazy what lengths people will go to help you out. So I kind of took the same approach from a Tempo perspective.
Wow. I'm telling you, servant leadership is the best leadership. It's the most fulfilling and rewarding, because a lot of even my career and how I've been able to continue to pivot and elevate was through being a servant leader. And especially with this Generation Z, they're a different beast. We're both millennials, and the Generation Z, they are just so smart, and they grew up with internet. So they don't know what life is like without having internet. And so that's oh, look, we got Chibi in the building. Let's add him into the conversation. Yeah, so with you being able to kind of develop that as you were just like serving your time, those were transferable skills you are now able to use in your business. And so that's a blessing within itself, and being able to feel equipped to have these conversations. And like you said, when you have a startup, money is very low, and if you do have the money, you're investing it into the product that you're building. And so to be able for you to explain what your vision is for your company, and then for people to trust you and tag along with that journey, that says a lot about who you are as a leader, as a businessman, and that you're really just getting started, but yet you have built so much momentum. So what was that pivot, and what took place before you feel like, okay, Tempo's really starting to gain some momentum? So what were some of the things that you implemented to make that happen?
I think the big thing was just I think there was a certain point where I decided to go in 100%. And take on the necessary risks that were associated with that, like basically putting up the upfront money. And it was kind of like the belief. If you don't believe in the idea, then no one will. And just to give like some context to folks, like, so Tempo, we operate in the hybrid event space. I think a lot of people are buzzing about it now due to coronavirus, but we saw it early. We noticed that there was a benefit to adding a virtual element to in-person events. A lot of people are trying to like have 100% virtual events, right? And we never believed that was a viable option. Zoom is good, but like nothing like being around people and being able to brush shoulders and touch and all that kind of stuff. So we recognize that the physical element will never be able to be replaced, but you can kind of augment it with a virtual element, so people who can't show up can see it and view and participate, and people who are at the event can like share their perspective, and that just creates a healthy ecosystem of where it helps like the event attendee figure out like, hey, where I want to go. If last minute I'm trying to decide between many options, how can I like get better data in the form of video and photo, more rich media to help me make a better determination. So that's the whole concept of Tempo. But I'll say another important thing was once I started partnering up with Chibi.
Oh yes, please introduce Chibi. Chibi, are you there?
I'm here.
Well, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sounds good. Do you want me to do like a little intro?
Of course.
Okay. So my name is Chibi. I'm from Houston, Texas. I'm a senior at Texas A&M University, and I'll be graduating this fall. I am co-founder and chief operational officer of Tempo. I started working with Carl about 3 years ago. He presented the opportunity to me to work with Tempo and to help grow the company. And since those 3 years, it's just been an amazing opportunity. Tempo has been such a has had such an impact to my life, and I just see so much growth and opportunity for the future in Tempo.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I know you've definitely been an intricate part of just the elevation and growth. And so to piggyback on my question in regards of momentum, I know you, Carl, you were just bringing up how Chibi was a part of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, adding Chibi was huge because I was able to like double the amount of productivity you could have in a day, right? So I think me and Chibi kind of move in a very similar fashion where we don't need a lot of supervision. I don't need to manage Chibi at all. I kind of tell him like, hey, this is what he, and that's what I like to work with. I think I have a fundamental belief that A players like to work with A players. You know, somebody, you know, somebody if you're an expert in the area, you want to find somebody else that's like at that same level in another area, and y'all just go work like independently. Y'all both go out and you go hunt, and then at the end of the week, end of the month, you say, hey, look, this is what we gathered. This is what we've accomplished. So with Chibi, I can do that. I told him, hey, I work on the technology. I'll make sure that's paid for and handled. You go get me a flock of college students, like, and get them to come to it. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, and the thing about Chibi that I like is he always exceeds my expectations and he does things faster than I even anticipated he could do them. So like, he was literally able to do that, you know, within a month. If you look at our page, you'll see like hundreds of college students wearing Tempo shirts. You know, we've held concerts with over 1,000 people, you know, all based on the work that Chibi was able to do, you know, and we were able to get thousands of downloads and the app wasn't even complete yet, thousands of downloads, thousands of comments, thousands of engagement, interaction. And it was all based on like the work that this man did so quickly. So that was really a turning point, I would say.
Wow. Yeah, that's a gift to just be able to organize people, like, and be able to rally them up to accomplish one main goal. So Chibi, kudos to you for having that willpower, number one. And you have to have some type of finesse with you doing that. Can you give us a little bit more insight on how you were able to really get people on the journey of Tempo?
Well, firstly, I just wanted to thank Carl for everything you just said, man. That means a lot to me. And also Precious as well. You know, one thing I've always stood behind is just the fact that you always need to know what you're working for. And you can't forget the passion behind what you're working for either. So when I first started working with Tempo, it was just exciting to me. Like just the fact that, you know, Carl and I and everybody in Tempo, we just wanted to put on live events for the community and just come together with an app that would help us do that even better. So it was just a beautiful thing to be a part of, and I just kept the passion all throughout, and the passion kept growing and growing and growing. So when a passion keeps growing, and you just have the strength to just realize like, man, you know, this is something huge and something important to me. Let me take it seriously. Let me make it something that's like a full-time thing that I'm always consistently investing into. So, you know, it wasn't something that was even hard to do. It was something that just came natural because of the passion that I had for Tempo.
Yes, I read this book called Grit. Her name is, I think, Angela Duckworth, I want to say. And it talks about just the power of passion and perseverance and how a lot of these, you know, big people in entertainment and sports, one of the most common factors, even through the Navy and different people just trying to hit higher ranks, their passion and perseverance is what got them there. They had to, you know, do things they didn't feel like doing, but the fact that they were passionate about it and determined to get to what their end goal was, that ultimately was the reason for their success. And I see and experience that with you guys every time we interact. Is when you're so passionate, like that's all you can really talk about. Like
Yeah.
it's like
And
that's what rolls off your tongue naturally.
yeah, and I just want to throw in also just having faith as well. Because the thing is like with a new company and a new business, you really don't know exactly where things are going to go. I'm an optimist. Carl's an optimist. And of course, we want Tempo to be as successful as it can be. But it's very essential to have faith, because without faith, at the low points, when it's stressful, when things are not going the right way, when you hit road bumps, without faith, then you won't be able to get through those road bumps, and you won't be able to get to the good feelings when you're at the top, the tip top. You have to be able to work and continue to keep pushing through low points as well. So that's one thing that's also huge to me as well, just having faith, no matter the situation, no matter the circumstance.
Yes, how appropriate is that? So Carl, let's get a little bit deeper into the grind, right? So what was a moment where you were kind of low on faith, but you knew you had to make a pivot or make a decision to, progress forward in something where you were just not sure, but you did it anyway?
Yeah. So we really haven't experienced a low moment as of yet. I think there's a lot of periods of uncertainty, and I think when things are uncertain, it leads to like kind of frustration and confusion for me. So like I'll give you an example. So we I guess it took us a long time to find, because we've been working on this Tempo 1.0 or 2.0, like just an advanced version of Tempo for quite a while, and we've gone through a lot of different designers. We probably went through like 4 designers to where we are now. Like people who made promises and weren't delivering, or the quality of their product didn't like meet our standards. So anytime things take, I'm very impatient, right? And I'm
Look at
very
that. Okay, ownership. All right.
yeah, I'm very patient. And I want, like, when I want something done, I want it done like yesterday. So to go through that period of waiting, and it was planned waiting, because you're waiting to have a better outcome. It was still frustrating. Every day I'm waking up like, dang, the design. So I was just like kind of going in overdrive to make it happen. And I guess another period of uncertainty is like, with the product, you put a lot of upfront bread to then make it, or upfront money to then make it back. So we had a situation where we put money in for the app and the infrastructure, and you're like, I hope I can make it back. I hope we can have the success we're looking for. And so that was one of the big things.
So what was the outcome of making that decision?
So I think the outcome of waiting to get the app, waiting to get the right designer, I think it led to a better product, or it's gonna lead to a better product. Because I can show you, send you a link. I'll send you a link afterwards to the designs we have. Like, I think exactly what we need to get to the next level. I think the outcome of when putting up the upfront money to get the app ready and get the app launched, I think that led to like a phenomenal Q4 and a phenomenal Q1 this year. So I have really no complaints. And the problem, I'm also a risk taker. So once I see something work, I'm like, okay, it's time to double down. And I'm trying to like prevent myself from doing that, because you don't want to like run out of cash, because we're a startup and have a lot of other expenses other than just development.
So from an industry perspective, have you experienced any major challenges that have affected your business or affected the growth of your business? Just you personally, because I know in addition to Tempo, you also work in the tech space as well.
Right, yeah. So I didn't get to mention that part. So I actually work at Google right now. So I'm a big proponent of, obviously the goal is like to have your the company that you're working on be your sole source of income. But really, like, because I don't want to go out and shop for investors immediately, I want to kind of build the equity up myself, bootstrap for a while, so that way I can kind of set the terms that I want, so I can retain more ownership of the company that I created and sweated so much for. So I do work at Google, and Google's paycheck finances like a lot of Tempo's operations. But now we're getting to the point where Tempo is becoming self-sufficient. Like the revenue and the profit from Tempo can now pay for future development and marketing, etc. So that's a relief for sure.
That's nothing.
But sorry, did that answer the question?
Well, yeah, well, no, not exactly, but I'm glad you gave us that insight. But yeah, just like big picture, because I know we're talking about just your journey within growing Tempo, but from an industry perspective, has there been any major challenges just being a Black tech founder? Like, what comes with that? I mean, I know that you're saying you're funding it, but aren't there resources out there to help support your business, or are there not? Like, I'm just trying to see, because in the startup space, I mean, tech is the future. So I want to know if you've been able to, have you had any pushback? Have you reached out to other, funders or different things like that? Or is your goal to 100% own everything?
Yeah. I think so. As far as like industry challenges, like coronavirus, like obviously, but I really don't see it as a negative thing. It kind of just it allowed us to take the time to properly prepare for our relaunch. So I'm not really pressed to worry about it at all. But obviously, like everyone in the event space and the live space, like, is being impacted by coronavirus, right? So that's been the biggest challenge or setback that we've seen. But as far as like being a Black entrepreneur or a Black tech founder, I would say I don't know, because I think because there's two startups that I've actually just researched recently that have raised a significant amount of funding, and they have a lot less traction and a lot less to prove than what we have, right? But because they have like the proper signals, and me and Chibi have some of the right signals. We went to big strong universities. We work in big tech. Those are some of the really key signals, but we're missing that one key big signal that helps you raise money, and that's usually like the color of your skin, right? So seeing some of the companies and what they've accomplished and how much money they raise is kind of like funny, but I don't really think about it too much. I'm not too worried about it because I want to, like, I intentionally want to put up money because that's how much I believe in it. And by putting up the money, me and Chibi will own like a larger share of Tempo. So that's our goal. Because if you raise money, the more money you raise, I just have another boss. Then I have a boss at Google and I have a boss at Tempo, which is my baby, which will feel really funny.
Right. That's a really, really good point because, a lot of people like to have these different campaigns and fundraising, yet you're now inviting that many more people into the decision making of the company and more relationships that you have to manage. So I commend you in like being 100% behind what your passion is and just the vision that you have. So when I had this great question when you were talking, I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask him that. Mm-hmm. We talked about, you brought up the coronavirus. Oh, so look, I'm gonna continue an expert in this space because I just feel like your experience makes you an expert. So mm-hmm. What do you forecast? Like, okay, I know we're going into this new normal, but what do you forecast as far as like people or community engagement in an offline space? Because I know the app, it supports both. And so where do you kind of see things going? I mean, I don't know if they're bringing back sports. I don't know what the status is on that. But how do you think things are going to transition and move to bring people together? I know we're all online now, like you mentioned, but that can only last for so long. We want to, touch and feel it.
Yeah. No, that actually really excites me. I think there's a huge opportunity for growth there, right? So now everybody has gotten very, very comfortable with virtual events, right? So there's so much room for innovation and monetization if done in like the proper way with the correct business model, right? So now something like Tempo, which is like kind of we're branding it as a hybrid events company, is a very easy sell for investors. But like I said, I still don't want to try to do a money grab. Another thing is kind of off topic, going back to the earlier point. You know, a lot of times people see raising money as validation. When to me, I see validation as like customers placing orders and what customers say. So like people go and, you know, I don't want to bring color into it, but people like think if, you know, some like a white person validates your company, gives you a bag of money, then all of a sudden it's worth it. Like
Mm-hmm.
we need shit we talk about all the time. We don't even want the money. Like we have pitch decks and stuff prepared, just like for pitch competitions and stuff. But as far as like going to shop around and beg investors to invest in us, we're not doing that. We don't plan on doing that. We want to like get to a level where they have to make deals with us or partner with us in ways that, you know, are beneficial to both.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yes. I was talking to a friend recently that she also was like in the process of launching her app, and it's kind of went through different phases, and she has invested, you know, has been the seed investor for her app and different things like that. And she was going to connect with someone, I believe, overseas to develop, but I connected her to I think I told you about this company too, the B Print.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Black owned company that develops technology, websites, apps, and all those different things.
Mm-hmm.
But she realized how important it was for her to know who her, you know, main niche market is. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to go back to like that moment of when you decided what your niche market is, because I know that plays a big role too in the marketing and the like UX the whole user experience. So how has that shifted? And what was that pivot like?
Absolutely. And I want to make sure we get some questions in for Chibi as well.
Okay.
I'll answer this one, and you know, maybe we can get Chibi some too, because he's been instrumental and he's been through a lot of this stuff. Probably
Well, let's hand it off to him right now. I'm sure he could be able to answer this question as well.
Okay.
Chibi, what role has it played like now? Since I know you've been there from the beginning, with shifting and focusing on the college market, how has that played a role in the user experience with the app? From a design perspective and just the whole flow of everything, because I know you guys have had some focus groups and some people do downloads and test out different features. So what was that process like with gaining that information and being like, okay, this is what we need to change, this is what we need to do next?
Okay, so you know, essentially you don't know how exactly the community is going to work with the app until they actually work with the app. So we kind of just took it step by step, and case by case and event by event. You know, we had the infrastructure where a user could create an event and share the link with their designated audience, and they could purchase tickets or RSVP. And we would just get with the clients who created the event and see, you know, what their experience was like. If it was a hard experience, if it took too long, what rebuttals did they have about the app? You know, what was easy for them, what was hard for them, and we just kind of jotted it down, and took note of it. And we knew what to keep, what to take out, what to work on, what to add, what to remove. So you know, it just helps with just testing, and having people who, you know, trust our platform and just trust that, you know, we'll do right by them, so that they test out our platform, and you know, we're able to help them out with their events as well. So you know, it's case by case, and as more people use our platform and create events, and they give us more feedback, then we're able to update the app and make it better for our clients and our users, because that's what matters for us at the end of the day, is user experience.
Yes, amen to that, and getting that feedback. I know that was there a specific method you used to get people to provide that feedback? Like, I know when it comes to the college marketing space, you can't just have like a poster up or a flyer up, or, you know, I don't know if it was like a text message blast that went out, but I'm curious to know what strategies are working when you're marketing to college students as well as just Generation Z altogether. Like, what do they respond to the most?
So firstly, I'd like to shout out our product manager, Adamide Jose. You know, he really was influential in helping us to, you know, get in contact with some of the users that creative events on our platform, and he interviewed them and found out how their experience was, and figured out, you know, what they liked, what they didn't like, what was hard, what was easy for them. So he was really instrumental in that as well. So he was a really great addition that we had to the team. So I just wanted to shout him out. The second thing is, you know, when people are using Tempo and creating events, it's usually their first time creating an event, even if it's with Tempo or if it was with another platform. It's usually their first time creating an event. And as you're walking them through the creation, you kind of realize, okay, they're struggling with this part, or this is something that could be easier. This is something that could be made, that could be taken out, or this is something that could be added so it's easier in the creation process. So it's kind of case by case. And, you know, everybody's not going to be able to figure out the app evenly, but we want to make it as simple as possible. And in this next design that's coming out, in this next UX experience is going to be even simpler than it's been in the past. So that's something that we're very excited about and should be coming out in the next couple of months.
Wow, that's a good point that you made. You know, with me being in the, well, I've been in the entertainment, fashion, just marketing space altogether. Throwing events is like going to the coffee shop or going to the store. It's something just happens all the time. But for you to say a lot of people that's on the app, it's their first time creating an event, that's pretty dope for their first event to be a Tempo event. And so just from a branding perspective, I would definitely hold on to that data or those specific clients or users where their first time launching their idea or bringing their vision to life was through the Tempo app. That's a powerful message to say, like, you guys are creating creators in a sense, like birthing creators. That's really cool.
I love it.
Sure.
So we're going to close out with some rapid fire questions. I'm glad I have both of y'all on here because I'm going to kind of get in y'all's business about how y'all work together so effectively, or so not effectively, but seems like from what Carl has said, y'all are pretty on point and pretty tight. So first question is, I'm trying to see which one I want to give y'all first. So who's the first person to hop on a conference call?
It's usually Carl.
Usually Carl. Okay, who takes the best notes out of y'all two? Carl, you can answer too.
Neither. Meetings, usually somebody else.
Y'all don't take notes in y'all's meetings?
So it's usually someone else who takes notes.
Oh, okay. So y'all delegate that out. Okay, good to know, bosses. All right. So who responds to the community DMs or the company DMs?
Both of us.
Both, yeah.
Oh, y'all sweet. Y'all both have the same answer. Okay. Okay, so do y'all like to text or talk?
Both.
Both.
But like
mainly call though, because the thing is, you know, we don't ever have things lost in translation, but how busy both of us are, calling usually gets the job done quicker, and gets points out faster.
Yeah.
I always say, like, oh, go ahead, Carl.
Now I was gonna say a lot of times, like, if it's transactional, we'll text like, "Hey, I need you to do this," or "Did you do?" But if it's like, a lot of times when we talk, it's like I'm running ideas by him, he's bouncing ideas off of me, and you can't really do that via text.
Yeah. I always say, like, communication and love languages tend to go hand in hand. I feel like communication is like the foundation of every relationship, and essentially how you communicate also like plays a role in how you like to receive love. So we'll get into that a little later. But yeah, so who's the healthiest? Who eats the healthiest?
Actually,
I think Carl, whenever he's in California, he has more of a set diet since his company his company
you got
allows
those
him
Google
to eat.
benefits. You got those
Yeah,
Google perks.
But I'm in college right now, so I eat a lot of fast food. But I also cook. So I would say Carl eats healthier than I do.
Carl, is that true?
It depends on the week. I don't know. I go through like healthy sprints. Like I'll be eating healthy for a month and I'll fall off for a few weeks and try to get back on. But since I've been in Houston, I've been eating pretty poorly.
Pretty poorly. Okay, so who stays in the gym? Most.
Or on gym or on the track or just running cross country. So tell them how many miles you ran this month. You ran this month, Chibi.
This month I think I've run 21 miles, and last month I ran 46.
I can't compete.
Okay, that's more than average. Way more than average. I did do me 2 miles, 2.23 for a mod. I ran for a mod on Friday. So
okay.
Good for you with all of those. That's what's up. I can't even. I was about to say I consider myself healthy and I do work out, but I do not do 46 miles in a month. I can tell you. Okay, and then lastly, what is your definition of love?
Is that to both of us?
Yep. Yeah, I can get 2 separate answers. I can get a 2 for 1.
Mine's kind of more biblical. I think love ties to God's love. When I think about loving others, I love as God loves others. So like I see myself as someone that's loving because God is loving to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see where love derives from. That's how I see what love is.
So, Carl.
Yeah. So I see love as like it's like a commitment you make. I don't think it's a feeling. I don't think because some days you feel like loving, some days you don't. So I think it's a commitment to value, honor, and appreciate the other person. So that could be like a significant other, family member, a friend. So I think it's almost like kind of like a contract between you and them. You say like, I promise to cherish you, etc. I guess that's why people take vows, right? It's like kind of like almost like contractual.
Yeah. Well, I love y'all, and I am committed to supporting you guys as much as I can. And I know you guys love what you do. You're passionate about what you do. And I really see nothing but success, like, moving forward. So do you have any words of encouragement to give to the other creatives and entrepreneurs out there that's really just trying to push through the pain and get to their purpose?
Yeah. Man, I just say know your why. I put this on LinkedIn the other day, but it's just something that I always think about, like know your why. Like when you wake up and you want to get through the day, you have to know your why. You have to know, why am I doing this? Why am I continuing with this company or this brand that I'm trying to create? Or why am I doing this master's degree? Why am I working with this partnership? Why am I working with this partner? Like, you have to know your why. You have to know where you want to go. You have to know where you came from. And you have to know exactly how you're going to get to where you want to go. So just knowing your why is very essential for anything you want to do. Not even just business wise, but just like relationship wise as well. You have to know your why. You have to know why you love someone. You have to know why you love what you're doing. So I just think knowing your why is extremely essential.
I agree.
Okay. I have a few of them. I'll say like run your own race. Social media era, it's really easy to see other people and kind of get down on yourself. But I think we all have our own pace that we're running at and our own ability to grow. So it's like as long as you're getting better every day, every year, then that's something to celebrate. There's no need looking at other people. And then I would say like don't neglect other areas of your life. You don't neglect other areas of your life long term. just to satisfy your business, because, you know, you don't want to have a successful business, but like everything else in your life is crumbling. So, I mean, you might have to make short-term trade-offs every now and then, but over the long term, make sure you're investing, make sure you're taking care of your family, communicating with your family, and doing all those other good stuff that makes life rewarding and fun.
A very, very great point. That was good, Carl. I'm gonna have to write that one down. We gonna write it down. Carl always gives good quotes. I actually have like a few quotes, a few conversations we have. Let me write this down. I'm like, this is everything. So, book coming soon. I already know that's probably gonna be about 5-6 years from now, but it's all good. I'm speaking to existence. So I appreciate you guys for your time and sharing your light and your journey. And like I said before, I'm fully here to support you. Brand is Wealth is here to support you. And yeah, we're ready to have an event. We need to figure that out too.
Look, step into our office. Let's talk.
Sounds good.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we will definitely be in touch.
Cool. Thanks. This was fun.
Alrighty. Have a good evening.
Bye.